Hi everyone, it's Miss Parzik here, and today we have a mystery. Before we continue on, pause this video, stop it, grab a piece of paper and a pencil because you will want to be writing along. Alright, like I said, we have a mystery, and our mystery is about context clues. So what better way than to involve the mystery gang here to help us figure out this mystery. So before we start on this mystery, we have to kind of convince Scooby-Doo to help us, right? Normally he doesn't want to go on these scary missions. So I got some Scooby snacks for him and some information about context clues. So context clues are hints that an author gives to help define difficult or unusual words within a book. All right, that's Scooby Snack number 1. Scooby Snack number 2 is the clue may appear within the same sentence or it may follow in the next sentence after that. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out words that we're not sure what they mean just by reading them, okay? And reading the words around them. All right, so we have a monster that we need to unmask, and our monster's name is the word affable. Hopefully by the end of this video, we'll figure out what affable means. Starting with some context clues here, we have Fred that's going to show us our first one, which is definition. So an example of this is Mr. Fry is an affable principal. He is pleasantly easy to approach and always friendly. So Fred is giving the definition in the sentence afterwards of what the word affable means. So pleasant, easy to approach, and always friendly. All right, our next one is from Shaggy. It's a synonym, and he's going to give us a synonym because he always says the word like, and synonym means the same or alike, right? It's the word that means the same thing. So an example of this is Mr. Fry is quite affable. In fact, he reminds me of Mrs. Baker. Do you remember how kind she was? So the synonym for the word affable in this is kind. All right, our next context clue is an antonym. And you can remember this because Scooby's always saying no. He doesn't want to go do anything. It's scary, right? So antonym is the opposite. It means the opposite of like a synonym, right? A synonym means the same thing. Antonym means the opposite. So an example of this is, I miss Mr. Fry. Our new principal is cranky and unapproachable. Mr. Fry was affable. So the antonym to the word affable is cranky and unapproachable. Our next context clue, and also before I forget, make sure that you're pausing this video on each of these slides because I know I'm talking through them fast, but I want you to get all of these context clues written down. So if that means you need to go pause right now or go back and make sure you have all those example sentences written down, do that, okay? Do that now and continue to pause the video when you need to. All right, so our next one is coming from Daphne, which is an example. So Mr. Fry is an affable principal. He knows everybody's name. If you have a problem, you can always talk to him. So the examples here is that he knows everyone's name and that you can always talk to him if you have a problem. Our last one here, let's get those updates out of the way, there, is a little bit trickier, and this one's coming from Velma, and this is an inference. And we use inferences in our reading all the time, right? It's kind of my favorite thing to do is just kind of infer about things like, oh, I think that's why that's happening. I do that all the time. So an inference in this sense, our example is, you don't need to worry about talking to Mr. Fry. He is an affable principal. So why don't you need to worry about talking to Mr. Fry? I'm going to pause here and give you a second to think. Because he's affable, right? I don't need to be worried if this guy is super nice and easy to talk to, but I might be a little bit worried if he's kind of grumpy and standoffish, right? So this one's an inference. It doesn't tell us exactly what it means, but you can kind of figure it out using your brain. All right, so these are all of our context clues. This would be another awesome spot to pause and make sure that you have all of these listed out. And if you want to use colors, that would help too. So I'm going to give you just a second to pause the video here, getting all these definitions written down, all these context clues. All right, so based on all of these context clues, what does the word affable mean? We've used a definition, synonym, antonym, example, inference. What does affable mean? We are about to unmask our monster here, everybody. So think in your head, what does affable mean? All right, should we see if you're right? Let's see. So affable means friendly and easy to talk to. Were you right? I hope so. All right, so what's going to happen next in your activity in Seesaw is you're going to have a bunch of these fun cards where there's words that don't mean anything. They're random made-up words, but you can kind of figure out what they mean, even though you can't find these words in the dictionary. So I'm going to read the directions really quick. The following stories have make-believe words. Use the clues in the sentences to see if you can figure out the meaning of the make-believe word. Circle the words and phrases to help you determine the meaning. So we kind of have three parts here. So the first part we're going to read, second part we're going to circle, third part we're going to answer those two questions, all right? So number one, my grandmother gave me a bleepus. See, I didn't even know how to pronounce it at first because it's not real. My grandmother gave me a bleepus when I was a baby. Everyone in my family has their own bleepus. We each hang ours by our stairs at Christmas because we don't have a fireplace. My bleepus is a long, red, skinny sock. My sister's is green and short. So now what you're going to do in Seesaw is use your drawing tool to circle the things that helped you figure it out. And if circling's a little too hard, you could underline. That would work too, okay? So I circled everyone in my family has their own. So I know each person has one. That's important. That they hang theirs by the stairs at Christmas or by the fireplace is another option. And then this one is super important. It's long and it's red and it's a skinny sock. Okay, so what do you think a bleepus is? I think I know. It's a stocking, right? And how do I know this? So explain why you think that. And so in these two questions here, you're going to just use the text button and type and then drag that in under the question, okay? So a stocking, and then explain why. So stockings are Christmas decorations, and they are socks that, sorry, my head's kind of cutting that off. They are socks that you can hang up in the house, right? So that is what your activity is going to look like. I hope you have some fun with it because I had a lot of fun reading these random words that don't mean anything, and then I'm like, hey, I actually know what a bleepus is. All right, fourth graders, good luck.